What you're looking at on my screen here is an email sent May 5th, 2009. This is an email that was shared by one of the longtime collectors in the hobby. Hi, just wondering if you have an idea when the VGA population report will be functional. Thanks. And VGA responds, again, this is back in 2009. VGA says it will likely be released towards the end of this year. That's 15 years ago. VGA was saying that pop reports were coming soon. And of course, right here, we have the infamous 2021 email as well. This was August 2021. This was right when WATA Games was getting so much heat. People were attacking WATA for not having population reports, controlling all the data, all that stuff. So VGA came out and was like, hey, guess what? We're gonna give you guys pop reports. Pop reports are coming soon. This email says here that we're nearing the final stages of designing our website. Initially, our new site will offer more information, an improved online store, and population reports. About 2.5 years ago for this email, VGA pop reports are truly like it's stuff of legend, right? It's that thing that's supposed to be coming forever and never actually come. But I am in absolute disbelief today. Today, April 15th, 2024, people will be talking about this day in this hobby for years to come. VGA finally published their population reports. I'm right here on the CGA website. This is not a joke. Now available population reports. You can click it at the top here. Population reports now exist with VGA. Now, just as a forewarning here, the pop report is not great. It works, it does take a learning curve, and it's not perfect. But it is far, far, far better than us having nothing. Just for an example, we'll go something kind of simple. We'll do Super Mario 64. And when you push search here, right, you can see that Super Mario 64 has 2,090 possible matches. How? So that's crazy. On the side here, you can filter this down. We can at least go video game authority. Doesn't help. Still 1,835. So whatever. Surely it will just put Mario 64 at the top of the list, right? Kind of. You can see we got Player's Choice Sticker, Player's Choice Release, UK version, Japanese version, PAL UK version, Player's Choice with a vertical seam. Right here, this will be your default black label Mario 64 entry. We'll go ahead and click into it, and once you do, you can see there's 195 plus out there. There are 6 VGA 95s. There are 4 90 plus. You can finally see the numbers for how many of these VGA games exist. Over here on the far right-hand side, it says qualified. So if it says there's 23 85 pluses out there, there's 1 qualified. Isn't Mizkif the idiot who owns that qualified? Am I wrong on that? Was his an 85 plus? I think he owns the only qualified that exists out there. That's tough. Maybe that's a saving grace for him. I really don't know. At the bottom, of course, you can see the total number of copies graded. So Mario 64, right? The game that everyone thought the most common game, thousands, millions of copies out there, whatever it is, right? In VGA's 15 years of existence, they've only graded 118 copies. And with these pop reports, right? Of course, there's going to be crossovers. There's going to be people breaking them out, all that stuff. So the numbers aren't going to be 100% accurate. No pop report is 100% accurate. But again, this is far, far, far better than having nothing. Another thing is that a lot of these are simply going to be uncategorized in general. So if we just search Pokemon Red here, there's this entry here where it doesn't say if there's a Sandshrew or Rattata, Blackie. They have those broken out as well. You can see Rattata, Sandshrew, and the later print. But if you click on this default one here where there's nothing, this actually includes 79 copies. So we have 79 copies of Pokemon Red here that are not categorized. These could be Sandshrew, Rattata, late print. They are not categorized. VGA started grading in 2008, I believe, so there is a lot of data here that simply, they were grading stuff before a lot of these variants were ever known. Again, the pop report isn't perfect, but ideally it can be upgraded. The system itself, like how you have to search this, how tedious it is putting in these manual queries, like none of this is really great. I think anyone who's used the WATA pop report and then they're going to come use the VGA one, you're going to see that one is a lot more user-friendly than the other. So what does it mean? What does all this pop data mean? Is this going to affect the market in any way? Do you need to care? What should you do with this information? And the big thing in general here, pop report VGA, is there's going to be 2 sides that this actually matters for. One, it's going to either confirm the games that we think are really rare, like games on the WATA pop report where it's a pop 1, pop 2, pop 5. You can now also look at the VGA pop report and be like, oh wow, VGA has also only graded 3 copies. Or you're going to look at the VGA pop report and it's going to be like, hey, wait, it's a WATA Pop 2, which is really rare, but VGA actually has 15 of them. So in that sense, as we keep combing through this data here, we might realize that certain games that we think are super low pop or we think are super rare, they might not end up being as rare as we thought. There might simply be more copies floating around out there than we think. The other thing that will happen with these really rare games is that it might actually confirm that they're really rare games. If the WATA Pop says 2 and the VGA Pop says 3, well, that's 15 years worth of people submitting these games, and we're still looking at a WATA Pop 5 across the 2 leading grading companies right now. So for some games, if you have something that is really rare and you've thought it's really rare, seeing now both the WATA and the VGA pop report can absolutely help to actually solidify that notion. We can all be far more confident, or at least a little bit more confident, that some games are rare or are not rare. Another side that will likely be affected by these pop reports is the ultra high grade side. So let's talk your VGA 95s, 95 plus, and your VGA 100s. Everyone knows when you see a VGA 95, a 95 plus, poof, I'm sure in most of our heads it's like, oh, there's only a handful of 95s that exist, and if you see a VGA 100, that must be the only VGA 100 out there, right? That's how a lot of people treat those ultra high grade VGA titles. But if we run a search here for Pokemon Soul Silver, this is big box with the Poke Walker, you can go down here and see there are 10 VGA 100 copies. 10 of them. Perfect copy, big box Soul Silvers out there, $7.95 plus, $14.95s. When we see numbers like that on the ultra high end, I think that that can actually hurt the value of these games here. The big thing is that no longer can people be like, oh, it's a VGA 100, this is one of only 2 that exist, or say there's only one of these that exists, I've never seen another. No longer do we just have to listen to people's anecdotes. You don't have to trust what someone just says anymore. And frankly, it's a good thing for everyone. And just to put in some fairness here, right? We can go Princess Peach. I'm not just being biased against Pokemon fans. Super Princess Peach on Nintendo DS. I own a VGA 95. That's a really good grade. Well, there's 5 VGA 95s, and look at that, there's 4 copies nicer. Again, if I'm being completely objective, completely honest here, seeing that there are 4 copies nicer and even 5 95s, that probably hurts the value of my game. This doesn't really help me. And I know 9 isn't a huge amount, right? But when we're talking about these tippy top special exclusive grades, now knowing that there are 4 copies nicer than 95, it just puts a ceiling on the 95 grade. The 95 is less special. It just is what it is. The other amazing thing, of course, we can now look at all big box games. Anything that was big box, was not on the WATA Pop reports, could only be graded with VGA for the longest time. So here's Pokemon Stadium on N64. There's only 1 VGA 95. In the exact same way that I said the tippy top will be affected by too much pop, this VGA 95 copy, wherever it is out there, that copy is now more valuable than it was prior to these pop reports coming out. This is now Pop 1 highest graded copy. So there are going to be people who definitely win on the top side of these pop reports. There are going to be people who lose on the top side of these pop reports. And frankly, for everyone who's kind of haloed in the middle here, like 85 plus to 80, does it affect you? Not really. Does it matter that there's 13 85 plus, 10 85s? Like, do those numbers really change anything? I personally don't think so. Overall, we could argue that Pokemon Stadium only having 46 copies, that you could probably make the argument there that that's pretty darn rare for a Pokemon game. Obviously, there's more out there ungraded, there are copies on eBay, but 46 graded in 15 years is not a lot of copies in general. So that could be something you can argue. But for the vast majority of people checking these pops, if you have VGA 85s, VGA 80 plus, even 85 plus, these probably don't change anything. The games most affected are really going to be the ones that everyone thinks are super rare. Those games are going to be interesting because everyone's going to be checking now. Okay, what does the VGA pop say? And the games in super high grade, because now everyone's going to be checking as well. Okay, well, how many actually are there in super high grade? Another one that really doesn't help me whatsoever was Mario Maker. I own a VGA 95 plus copy of this game. Looking up Mario Maker, oh great, there's 3 VGA 100s out there and frickin' 11 95 plus. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, right? Mario Maker, people were submitting this. This is the big box, by the way. 61 submitted. Like, you know, seeing that there are 3 100s, that probably hurts the value of my game. 11 95 pluses, not a great thing to see. But again, whether it hurts your value, helps your value, all of this information is a good overall thing. And frankly, even if every pop report number hurt my holdings, everything hurt my value of my games, I would rather these numbers be published than they be kept secret. This is a good thing for everyone. This is a good thing for the hobby. Say thank you to every Patreon member who helps support the channel, as well as the YouTube members. I can't do this without you guys. Hit the like button, you guys. Tell me what you think of the VGA pop reports, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.